My name is Ann Wells. I was just interviewed by Keith Andrew, and I highly recommend it if you dare.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Keith Andrew Network. I am your host, Keith Andrew, and today on episode 513, I'm here with Ann Wells. I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you so much for having me, Keith.
No, the honor is all mine. For people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example to show you that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. It's to prove to them you can still amount to something. So hashtag break the labels. That being said, half hour of your time, you can say anything you want, talk about whatever you want, uncensored, freedom of speech, self-expressing. And starting off, I'm going to ask you some easy questions so we can go to the hard-hitting ones.
Okay.
So the easy ones is, how was life growing up? And when you were in high school and college, did you ever do any sports?
Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, I had a very interesting upbringing because my parents were both in the Peace Corps. And so they raised me overseas. And so I spent most of my childhood in Turkey. And then I also spent 3 years living in Yemen, which was a very interesting place to live. I'm really grateful for those experiences. We had really no television, nothing like that. We had books, we had dirt to play with, and it was a great way for me to develop my imagination. I really credit a lot of that with who I am today and why I'm able to access my imagination the way that I am. And in terms of sports, I am not very good at sports. I've never been good at sports. I'm good at daydreaming and writing and art and that kind of stuff. I've never been a sports person. In fact, in high school, I hated gym class so much. I hated that we all had to get changed in front of each other. I hated that we had to throw balls at each other. That I was scared of the ball. I was that kid. I just hated gym.
What about, now first off, I was going to make a little joke. I said you used to live in Turkey. You never used to live in an actual Turkey. That's the name of it.
That's a good point. Yes, I did not actually live inside a turkey. That would have been a really, really interesting upbringing.
I try to have fun with everyone and make them laugh.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's a good one.
And What about, you said you didn't like gym class. What things in gym didn't you like?
Well, I think, like I said, I was especially afraid of the ball. I was pretty good at hitting the ball if it came to me, just
right.
because I didn't want it to hit me. But I wasn't very good at actually playing the games. I was just too afraid of, and we used to play things like, what's the game where you throw the ball at as hard as you can at the people?
Dodgeball.
Dodgeball. Oh my God. I hated that game. It was so scary. Like, I just didn't want to be hit by the ball. So, I didn't like that. And there was a lot of pressure to, when you're a teenager, having to go into the locker rooms and everybody's changing in front of each other and stuff. That was always really embarrassing, for me. I always just hated that whole experience.
No, same here. I used to change in the bathroom stall. At least then I had my privacy.
Yeah, exactly. It sort of feels like a wrong thing to do to teenagers who are so nervous anyway about their bodies and the changes and everything, and then just sort of forcing them to all go into a big room and take their clothes off in front of each other. It seems like cruelty.
It is, in a way.
Yeah.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, did you, one of my favorite things, a lot of people make fun of me for this, but it's my way to open up to the girl cast, all the women who I interviewed, because, I don't know, I like, flirting with women. So
Okay.
I came up with this subject of some. Basically, I don't say this to guys because it comes off gay. So basically, it's my way of just saying, okay, I ask certain questions for the guys, straightforward. But at the same time, how can I be different with the other audience? And I'm like, well, I can open up more. I can express myself, and I know I'm a work in progress.
We all are. We all are.
So without being around the bus, I was going to ask you, have you ever done a human pyramid? And would you ever be willing to do a human pyramid?
A human pyramid. You mean like where you like stand on each other's backs and I actually did one of those in high school. I don't remember why, but I do remember doing that. But no, I don't think at this age, I don't think I would do that. I don't think I'd want to climb on people's backs, and probably not.
Hey, don't knock it till you try it. Well, I'll try it again.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't totally rule it out, but it probably wouldn't be like first on my, list of things to do for the weekend.
Well, I do have a couple hypothetical questions for you, if you don't mind.
No.
The first one is, would you do the side-by-side, or would you use an exercise ball? What's more fun to you?
A what?
Side-by-sides where you actually have 3 people next to each other, and an exercise ball is pretty much like a stack. What sounds like more fun to you?
I guess I would say 3 people next to each other.
All right. I like thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
What about, would you ever be bottom, middle, or top? Well, what would be your best point of view?
Oh my gosh.
Well, hypothetically speaking.
Middle?
For me, I would say probably all 3 because you get different point of views.
That's true. That's a good one. Yeah.
And yesterday I was thinking, I work at my part-time job as a sales / manager. I'm just sitting out there thinking, how can I pass the time? And I was counting all the cute girls that walked by, and I'm a bad flirt. So I'm not the type of person that would approach someone because I don't like being rejected.
Yeah.
But I was thinking to myself, I wonder how many people can I wonder how many women can actually form a pyramid. And I came about 80, and I came out to myself, maybe that would be a good question. So hypothetically for you, is it possible for 80 women to do a pyramid, or do you think that's impossible?
Oh my gosh. I would say that would be very difficult. I would say it might be impossible to put 80 women on a pyramid.
And how come you say that?
It just sounds like too many people, like the whole thing might fall over or something. I don't know.
That's true. Alright, so I asked you the easy questions.
Okay.
Don't mind me, I try to have fun with everyone.
That's okay.
So I saw that you were a producer, film writer, and you have your own company. So the first question I was going to ask you is, who influenced you to start your own company, and how many years have you had it?
Well, that is a good question. So I've been making movies since 2004. 2004 is when I made my first film. The company, Lunatic Fringe Productions, is sort of the company that I made my short films under. But what I do now, as of just the last few years, I just made my first feature film called An Accidental Zombie Named Ted. And that's when you're doing a feature film, you tend to do it under its own company.
Right.
So each film has its own company. So that one is Zombie Ted, is the company. And So, so I've been in this business. Before 2004, I was an actress. And originally, when I started wanting to make films, it was so that I could write my own roles, because I just sort of got tired of being dependent on somebody else to decide what I was doing with my career, which movies I could be in and which movies I couldn't be in or whatever. So when you're an actress, you're always just sort of asking somebody else, please pick me, please pick me. And I didn't really like that part of the business. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll write my own. I'd always been a writer, and I thought maybe I'll write my own and produce my own. And everybody thought that that was crazy. And so for quite a while, that's what I was doing. I was directing and producing and writing and acting in my own films. And I realized along the way that I wasn't directing or acting as well when I was doing both. It was too hard to direct and act in the same piece at the same time. So I had to kind of make a choice. Which one did I really want to focus on and do? And I just really love directing. I love the combination of being a writer director, writing my own things and sort of, creating the entire thing from scratch. I do the producing because it has to be done, and it's expensive to hire somebody else to do it right. And being the writer director, it sort of makes sense to produce, because so much of producing is the logistics of how things work along the way, and you have to make compromises as a director and a writer for production. So it makes sense to sort of have it be all in the same person. When I have my producer hat on, I can kind of go, oh, okay, we can't have this thing that the director in me wants, and I know where the compromises make sense, So, yeah, that's sort of how it happened for me.
So what you're saying, it's better to be in one position than multiple, because it's the reason I say that is I interview people. For me, I'm a perfect example. I'm not an actor, not yet, but I direct, and I star in my own stuff. So, do you think it's easier to just wear one hat than multiple hats? Like you were saying, it was difficult to be a director and actor, but there are multiple people that can pull it off. Do you think it depends on the person, or it depends on the situation?
I think it kind of depends on the situation, because, when you're talking bigger budget films and you can hire these incredible, co-directors, assistant directors, DPs with a director's eye, and you can develop a relationship with them where you could really lose yourself on screen, in front of the camera, and not worry about what's happening behind the camera, and know that every piece of it was going to be in place. I'm sure that there's a freedom there that allows you to be better as an actor and still be able to direct the overall, picture. On smaller projects and with less money, it's a little harder because, I'm very detail oriented. I care about, what every extra is doing. I care about, the production design. I care about, every little thing that's inside the frame of the camera all the time. And as an actor, you have to be able to just lose yourself and not worry about what the camera is seeing or any of that stuff to do it right. So I feel like in the right situation, it would be a lot easier to be both director and actor. But I haven't been in that situation yet. And my sort of feeling is I don't really miss acting. I love directing, and so there's no real need for me to sort of have that as a goal to go back to. But I don't think it's necessarily that it's hard to wear more than one hat, because like I said, it depends on what the hat is. The the writing is one hat, the directing is one hat, the producing is one hat, and I feel like I can wear those three pretty well, except once I'm on set, I have to let the producing hat go, and let other people take care of that. But but I can wear those. But for me, on these low budget, films, it's been very difficult to wear both the actor hat and the director hat and do them both well. I just felt like my the quality suffered from that.
It's funny. I was had to start to laugh to myself. You mentioned well budget. I'm like, yeah. I guess in a way, a lot of people would say my talk show is well budget.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I do apologize for talking about the pyramid stuff. I do love that stuff. I'm a loser. I talk about certain things to get a reaction. I like getting a reaction out of someone. Like, oh, why did you act me that? Because I like seeing people's reactions. It makes it spontaneous. It makes it more fun and entertaining.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
It's also different. It makes you unique, which is good.
No, absolutely. And I give you an example. And then we got to take a quick commercial break. And again, I'm going to pass the show over to you. Is, a lot of people say, I want a script. I need a script. What do you got to ask me? I'm going to give you the highlights. Life growing up. How did you start your acting career? Who influenced you? What motivates you? And then I stop at that and say, it's a normal conversation, right? You're making a new friend out of it. You're supporting a good cause. And you're just going to have a good time at it. So I give you the 4 questions. Life growing up, acting, how's life growing? Acting, life growing up, who influenced you, and tell me about yourself. And then everything else, you have to fill in the gaps. I know it's Bill Maher, Bill O'Reilly, Toss Plano, the Daily Show. They sit down with you. It's like, okay, he's going to talk to you about this today. I was actually interviewed by Leslie Marshall, who occasionally appears on Fox News. He says, okay, today on the show, we're just going to talk about disabilities. I'm like, all right, that works for you, but it's pretty boring to me. Just talk about one thing for a half hour.
Right.
But I like it to be spontaneous. It's not scripted. I kind of take it from the wrestling, because I'm a big wrestling fan, if you can see. It's like Monday Night Raw, live, raw, uncut, uncensored. It's spontaneous. I'm like, all right, how can I turn my love for wrestling, my love of watching Bill O'Reilly and Bill Maher, be a little like Bill Maher, because I don't think before I speak. I just say what's on my mind. I am professional as Bill O'Reilly, and I like wrestling. How can I turn those 3 into something and do what I love? So that's why if it pops into my head, I'm like, sounds funny to me. But if it's kind of outrageous, I kind of be like, I won't talk about it. But if it's funny, I can go and do it.
Yeah, I think it's really important to find your unique voice, and that's what you're doing. And in my business, it's the same thing, you can't just sort of go try to make movies that are like other people have made them, or that are, or try to be like somebody that you admire or whatever, because, you're never going to be as good as they are at doing what they did, and they would never be as good as you are at doing you, Yeah. And so I think, finding what is it you want to say, and what is interesting to you, and some people will get it and some people won't. I mean, my movies are very odd, and, some people think that they're just hilarious, and other people just go, I don't get it, and that's okay. I'm not going to try to please everybody.
No, it's funny you should mention that. I said that multiple times. If you try to please everyone, it's not my job to please you. It's not my job to please my family or friends. If you try to please everyone, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, there's no point. And it would be a lot less fun, too. I mean, you loving what you love in wrestling and whatever, that's what you love. There's no reason to question it. You might as well just go with it full on, be who you are as, to your fullest ability.
No, absolutely. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I'm going to ask you one hard-hitting question.
Okay.
And how it affects your career. And I'm going to pass the remaining time over to you.
Okay.
It's Vanessa Lina. Adrian Lalo.
Michael.
This is Cynthia Bastinet.
I'm Sonia Fisher.
This is Shane Smith.
My name is Alexandra Bowie.
My name is Amelia Clover.
Hi, I'm Amy Linden.
Hi, I'm Anita Nicole Brown.
It's Meg Green.
Hi, my name is Asata Caldwell.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brooke.
Hi, I'm Bryn Berg.
Hi, I'm Casey Dunn.
Hi, it's Cassandra Kavinsky.
Hi, I'm Christina Briza.
I'm Cindy Hogan. I'm Courtney Sinello.
Hi, I'm Daisy.
My name is Deborah Jane East.
Hi, my name is Dinah Marcia.
Everyone, I'm Victoria London.
Hi, I'm Heather Krona.
Hi, I'm Heather Callahan-Stevens.
Hi, I'm Jay Nicole Ralph.
My name is Jamie Petrone.
My name is Julie.
My name is Julia Brankovich.
Kathleen Wills.
Kimberly Amato.
Hi, my name is Laura Putnam.
Hi, I'm Laura Chapanis.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Damas.
This is Michelle Mupo, a.k.a. Fuchsia.
I'm Rachel Olivera.
Hi, my name is Sarah Joy Mount.
Hi, I'm Susan Brender.
Hi, everyone. This is Venus Leone.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Turner.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Herrera, and I was just on the Keith Andrew Network. It was tons of fun. We used up all our time and then some. I really recommend this show, and try to be a guest on Keith's show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Keith Andrew, and this is episode 513. I'm here with the beautiful and talented Ann Wells, and I just want to say thank you for sticking with us.
I'm happy to be here.
Now, it's the last 12 minutes and counting. I'm going to ask you one last question, one last subject, actually, and then, with that being said, pass it over to you. Okay. Actually, make that two. The first one is, would you ever be interested in making films, say, hypothetically, one about me, about my story, and social media? Do you think social media dictates who you are and who you're going to be? And does it make you or break you?
Those are good questions. So for the first one, I would say I'm not a documentarian, and I really, really admire documentarians. It's a very unique field of filmmaking, and but it's not mine, and so it's not my passion, and it's not. I'm interested in watching documentaries, but I think you're a very interesting guy, and what you're doing is very interesting, and I think a documentary about you would be great, but it wouldn't be me doing it. I know other documentarians, but who would love an opportunity to do something like that. But for me, I live much more in a fantasy kind of world in terms of my writing and creating and movie style. So, so that's the answer to that. And then in terms of social media, it's such an interesting thing because I find it fascinating. It used to be that you had to have contact with a person in real life in some way to have contact with them at all. And then the internet grew, and now where we are today, I find it just so fascinating that the connections that people can make all around the globe, it makes the entire world so small. You can reach just as quickly somebody on the exact opposite side of the world as you can, somebody down the street. And so it's more powerful than I think we can even really get our brains around. And at the same time, we have to try to use the limited, human brain power that we have to kind of figure it all out. If we want to kind of harness it, use it, take advantage of it, reap the benefits of it. And, we're in this time period right now where things are so iffy because we've all just kind of jumped into the social media, internet, world altogether. And then we found out that there were all these pitfalls and bad things that could happen in there. And, people are learning the hard way. And, one of the things I think about all the time with social media is when I was growing up, we didn't have any of that. So we could make all our stupid mistakes. We did all our really stupid things without anybody ever catching it on camera and showing it to the rest of the world. And so we had the sort of benefit of not being exposed that way, in such a vulnerable way. Now, absolutely everything you put out there on social media is really there forever. And, so, you have to own up to absolutely everything that you put out there. And so it's a tricky world, I would say, business-wise, if that's sort of where your question is going. You have to know how to use social media or hire somebody that knows how to do it in order to really make it work for you marketing-wise. And it's a lot more complicated than it seems. There are a lot of algorithms, and Google is very complicated the way it works, and all the other search engines, but also just knowing how many times, for example, to say the same message and to the same people, because there's a fine line between really irritating people and getting them the same message enough times that they finally click on what you want them to click on. Telling somebody just a few times may not get them to click where you want them to click, or go see what you want them to see. They might need to hear it 8 times, but then if they hear it 10 times, they might go, okay, I never want to hear that again. So it's tricky.
No, absolutely. And on the subject, is there any websites you recommend? There's Facebook, Twitter. I'm kind of boycotting YouTube until I get my account back, but there's a long story about that. There's YouTube, there's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Blogger, LinkedIn, Stage 32. For people who want to follow you and hear your story, and I would love to hear your story. That's why you're here, apparently, duh. What websites did you use to start with, and what websites you have to use?
Well, I always feel like it's important to have a website we have a website for the movie. It's www.anaccidentalzombie-named-Ted. And we try to just sort of keep basic information there all the time that is updated, that, anybody can just kind of go there and kind of know where we are in process of what we're doing. On social media, we're on Facebook. We're definitely on Twitter. We're on Instagram. Instagram I don't do as much on Instagram. I think you have to be one of those people that takes pictures of absolutely everything through the day, to make Instagram work. And I don't do that as much as, I should in order to make that work. So for us, really, Facebook and Twitter have been the things, the places where we're able to get our message out and connect with other people that have similar likes and interests and stuff.
All right. Now, the next question, actually, I asked all my questions. I'm going to pass the show over to you. Was there anything you wanted to promote? Anything you want to ask me? Was to remain in time?
Well, in terms of the movie, I just want people to know that we have distribution for the U.S. and Canada, which is very exciting. We're currently seeking distribution internationally, but for the U.S. and Canada, we'll be released in October of this year, and so that's super exciting. The pre-sales for iTunes will probably start sometime in September. Maybe beginning of September or so. And sometime right around then is when they'll tell us what platforms we'll be on. And, I'll definitely keep you posted so you can let everybody know too. But sometime around then we'll start knowing which platforms we'll be on. And then in October we'll get released, and we'll do a big premiere in LA, hopefully at the end of this year. And so that's my main thing. You know, that's kind of my baby, that movie. So I've been living and breathing An Accidental Zombie Named Ted for the past 4.5 to 5 years. So that's my baby. That's the thing I like to promote the best. It's a funny movie with some great people in it. We've got Kane Hodder, who was Jason in the Friday the 13th movies. We've got Naomi Grossman, who was Pepper in American Horror Story. We've got Gary Anthony Williams, hilarious, from the Boondocks. Cameron McKendry played Ted, and he's just awesome. Sandy McCree from The Wire. We just have some really great people in the movie, and they're all hilarious, and I just can't wait, for the world to see it.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, I do have a couple of questions for you off the air. Wrapping up our interview segment, it was a real honor. Actually, I forgot to ask you my 2 last parts. Don't mind me. When I don't do my interviews this way, I kind of build up a brain fart.
Oh, that's okay.
Well, verbal diarrhea, some people call it. So anyway, the last 2 questions I was going to ask you is, well, are you on social media? Are you on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn? Are you on any of those?
Yes, we're on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook.
And you're not a fan of LinkedIn, huh?
I am on LinkedIn. I'm personally on LinkedIn, and I'm also on Stage 32, but I don't really spend any time on there. So I forget to update those, so I don't, I haven't really figured out how to use LinkedIn. I sort of feel like I would go there if I was looking for a job.
Right.
Stage 32 I've used looking for crew, when I'm looking to hire somebody. But otherwise I don't really spend time going there and, spending time there much.
I was obsessed with Stage 32 at a point, and then that's kind of like, I found something else.
Yeah. What do you spend most of your time on?
For me, I'm always on Facebook, Twitter, and I'm trying really hard to like Instagram, but it's mostly just Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Yeah. I have 2 LinkedIns. I have my main one, but I'm definitely going to add you to, and then I have a throwaway account where I just add random people. And then I would introduce myself, and once we hit it off, do the interview, okay, I'm going to add you to my main page.
Okay, I gotcha. That's a good way to do it.
Actually, I have that on Facebook, too. I have my personal, then I'm a throwaway account.
Oh, I wonder if that's why, because earlier today, when I went to send you a message, I searched you, and it didn't look like we were friends. We must be friends, because I knew we were friends on there. So we must be friends on one of your accounts and not on the other, because I sent you a friend request on the other one. Yeah. Okay.
I would definitely send you the request on my main one.
Okay. Well, I sent you one earlier today, so you'll see it when you go in.
Now, my other last question for you is, when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction, and what made you say yes, and how do you feel now after doing the interview? Would you recommend it?
I highly recommend it. And what I responded to immediately, because I get a lot of people reaching out to me and I don't usually respond, but I responded right away to you because you mentioned you were right up front immediately about the fact that you have a learning disability and that what your goal is. And it's a goal that is very near and dear to me. I used to be a teacher, and I worked with a lot of students with autism, and so it's that's a thing that's very, very near and dear to me. So I responded right away as soon as you said that. I knew that I wanted to find out who you were and that I wanted to do your show. And being on your show has been just delightful. It's been great. It's been really easy. You didn't make it stressful. I feel
awkward.
very comfortable. Not awkward at all. Fun. Really fun.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Now stay tuned for Off the Air. I do have a couple questions for you. But wrapping up, it's a real honor and privilege having you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to working with you down the road.
Thank you. You too.